coffee. I forgot I made this. So, Kratom. It seems to be a bit of a controversial drug right now, and I've seen so much misinformation spread about it. I just figured I might as well use this little hyperfixation of mine to do something useful. I don't really know how to pronounce this, but I'm gonna try. Mitragynine speciosa, commonly referred to as kratom, is a plant native to Southeast Asian countries such as Cambodia, Thailand, Indonesia, and Malaysia. Interestingly, kratom is actually in the same family as the coffee plant, and in low doses, it has a stimulating effect very similar to coca. Yes, that coca. Don't worry, raw coca leaves are not the same as refined cocaine. Traditionally, kratom leaves were chewed by field laborers in order to not only give them energy, but also sedate them slightly and heal any aches and pains they might have. Now, that might seem kind of contradictory, doesn't it? Well, that's part of what makes kratom so special. It's not only a stimulant, but also an analgesic and a sedative. Let me explain how it feels. The method I use is a simple toss and wash. I just get a tablespoon of powder, toss it at the back of my throat, and swallow it with water. This method is pretty disgusting, but I'm lazy and it's quick, so... Anyway, yeah, you can also brew a tea, which does taste a little better, and the effects do last longer. Some people also take capsules or drink it with juice. Dosages vary a lot from person to person, but people usually start with 1 to 2 grams of powder. Lower doses tend to feel more stimulating, while higher doses get more sedating. On very high doses, for me that threshold is about 5 to 6 grams, you can actually have the possibility of nodding out, which is basically half passing out from how sedating it is. Anyways, now I just wait. The effects usually kick in after about 30 minutes, and they last from 2 to 3 hours. I've been really motivated recently to read more theory, because I feel like it's just something that we just need to do to really, understand society and the world and all that. I know that's kind of like cringe sounding, but it is important. I really think it is. This is a good book. Anarchism. Become an anarchist today. I will be making videos about it. I feel it. Was it recording? Amazing. I'm so cool. I cannot believe this. Look at my cool ass flags. Goddamn. Oh, goddamn, 2. And my maps. Check the fucking maps out. So cool. Anyways, so it starts with this fuzzy warmth. It's like a cozy hug all over your body. I might start feeling kind of weird in my stomach, mildly euphoric, and my legs start to buzz in a very nice way. All my anxieties and stresses just kind of melt away, and I'm left in this sort of subtle but very nice bliss. Everything just feels like it's gonna be alright. Over time, I might start feeling a bit nauseous and a little itchy, and eventually it kind of just fades away into the subtle sedation. It's overall a very nice, well-rounded high. It's euphoric, but not too strong. Now, as I explain that, you may have picked up on a few things. All those effects sound very similar to a certain class of drugs. That's because kratom is an opioid. Whoa, okay. I know. Let me explain before you freak out. Kratom contains about 40 different alkaloids, all of which interact a bit differently in your body. Mitragynine makes up about 66% of those alkaloids and partially agonizes the Mu and delta opioid receptors, and metabolizes into 7-hydroxymitragynine, the other powerful alkaloid. The other powerful alkaloid, and metabolizes into 7-hydroxymitragynine, the other powerful alkaloid, which makes up about 2% of the active compounds. 7-hydroxymitragynine agonizes Mu and kappa opioid receptors, but there's also evidence that both compounds may also antagonize delta receptors, which could be the reason kratom has a ceiling effect. This means after a certain point, you can't get higher on kratom, no matter how much you take, because the drug begins blocking the receptors from receiving more of the agonizing alkaloids. Instead, you get what's often called the wobbles, which is a result of your central nervous system being understimulated, causing dizziness, confusion, nausea, and low coordination. It's not fun. Now, kratom may act on the opioid receptors, but that doesn't mean it's the same as, say, oxy or heroin. In fact, mitragynine is about 10 times less potent than morphine. It's like comparing coffee to meth. Not to say kratom is like coffee. I'll get into why that is definitely not the case soon. Need a little bit of coffee. Ooh. I love these. I've been getting these since I went vegan. There's like a couple candies that are all vegan, and they're so good. I'm addicted, I think. I'm addicted. Ironic to say that in this video, but Kratom is also a partial agonist, meaning it doesn't activate the receptors to the same degree as full agonists like opiates do. This makes overdosing on Kratom extremely difficult, and many of the side effects of full agonists like respiratory depression, aka slowed or stopped breathing, which is a common cause of opioid-related death, are greatly diminished. If you ever looked online to buy Kratom, you may have seen that it comes in different colors and strains. The whole strain thing is just marketing. There's no consistency to what strain names even mean, so one vendor's Meng Da is going to be completely different to another's. There's definitely something to the color, or vein as it's often called. From my experience, and from what most other users also say, reds are a bit more sedating, whites, golds, and yellows tend to be a little more stimulating, and greens sort of sit somewhere in the middle. Now, to be fair, I've had greens that feel the same as reds and vice versa, so it's not quite foolproof, but there's often a noticeable difference in effects. And if you look at the alkaloid profiles of different veins, there is usually a different ratio of compounds, which does affect how it feels. So how can Kratom be helpful? Because of the opioid properties of Kratom, it's very effective for pain management, anxiety, depression, and even getting off much worse drugs like opiates, and from my personal experience, benzos. Many Kratom users have used it as a stepping stone to get off drugs like heroin, fentanyl, and oxycodone, because it relieves withdrawal symptoms while being significantly safer and more accessible than methadone or Suboxone. As for depression and anxiety, studies have shown that Kratom lowers cortisol levels and acts on dopamine and serotonin receptors, making it a very effective antidepressant and anxiolytic. Many people also use Kratom for chronic pain instead of stronger opioids due to the higher risks of dependence and side effects. But for reasons that I'll get into soon, you should really avoid this drug unless 1, you're already an opioid addict, or 2, you really have tried everything else. So why the hell is it getting so popular? Over the past several years, Kratom has exploded in popularity. This is particularly evident. Maybe more coffee, maybe. It's so fucking nasty, Jesus. Why does anyone like coffee? Over the past several years, Kratom has exploded in popularity. This is particularly evident in the US, when it started popping up in smoke shops around 2011 and quickly blew up. It's estimated that around 15 million people use Kratom in the US alone. The drug is new and mysterious, so there's this lack of caution among users who might want to get a new type of high. Many people say that Kratom is safe and non-addictive because it's a plant. Not only is this misleading and dangerous rhetoric, but oftentimes the Kratom you buy from these places isn't even the plant at all anyway. So why is it starting to be outlawed all over the place? The drug sold in these smoke shops, while labeled as Kratom, is usually an extract and often contains other substances. These drugs are not safe and extremely addictive. For example, a Swedish product called Krypton Kratom was a mix of Kratom and a highly addictive research chemical called O-desmethyltramadol. 9 people died from this product, and it led to a complete ban on all Kratom products in Sweden earlier this year. Thanks. So, I have a bit of a confession. I am a Kratom addict. I first started using it when I was coming off benzos, and it helped immensely. I kicked that shit so fast thanks to this plant. Interestingly, the first few times I tried it, I didn't really like it much. It was weird and made my stomach feel funny, and I had never really tried an opioid before, so I wasn't really used to the effects. That quickly changed, however. After a few times of trying it, it started to feel different and amazing. For some background, I have severe social anxiety and bouts of agoraphobia, as well as moderately severe depression. The drug just, it fixed it. I felt calm and clear-headed. I felt a buffer between myself and the world, making those social situations just easy enough to get through. Sure, it wasn't as potent as lorazepam, but it felt much nicer, and hey, no side effects, right? Well, that's what I thought. When I moved to Sweden January of this year, I was using Kratom a couple times a week. I wouldn't say I was addicted. Slowly though, it crept up on me. My doses increased, and so did the frequency. I always thought, nah, I'll be careful, it won't become a problem. Yeah, I was wrong. Kratom is highly addictive. It is an opioid, and regardless of what people tell you, you will develop a dependence if you take it often enough. When I was taking it a couple times a week, it was fine. No withdrawals or anything. When it became daily use, and eventually multiple times a day, it got bad. The withdrawals sneak up on you. For me, they start setting in about 5 to 6 hours after my dose. At first, they're pretty mild, just some body aches, feeling a bit flu-like, and maybe some skin sensitivity. But if I let it go a few more hours, it transforms into what I can only describe as fucking hell. Every cell in my body is just submerged in lava.
burning intensely. I can't breathe and I'm sweating so much that my clothes get wet. My skin hurts at the slightest touch, and the tremors are awful. I just can't stop shaking. My arms and legs are so restless, I wish I could just rip them off. And of course, I'm really nauseous and my stomach is upset. Now, I have comparably very bad withdrawals. Some people experience much less severe ones, more comparable to coffee, and others don't experience them at all. It really depends on the person, the dose, and the frequency.
Others have said that the withdrawals are actually worse than other opioids because kratom doesn't just agonize opioid receptors. It also acts as an SNRI, works on serotonin and dopamine receptors, and an adrenergic, works on epinephrine and norepinephrine receptors, meaning you're getting 3 different kinds of withdrawals from one drug.
Now, don't worry, I am getting help. Thanks, Swedish healthcare. And I've been working on tapering down to hopefully stop this damn drug.
While at first it felt like it fixed all my problems, it obviously didn't. And the moment I stop taking it, all those issues are gonna flood back worse than before. No one thing is gonna fix depression or anxiety or any issue. Kratom, if used responsibly, can be a tool for getting better, but it should be far from the only thing you use. Relying on any one thing is a great way to make things much, much worse.
The kratom I take is just dried leaf powder. It's just a pure plant straight from the source, and I do my research to make sure it's good product. There are other ways to ingest these compounds though. Many of the products found in smoke shops and online are extracts. These are much stronger forms of kratom, and thus far more addictive. The shit you'd find in a kratom shot, tincture, or vape is probably an extract.
Interestingly, in Thailand, there's actually a trend of people mixing kratom with cough syrup and soda, essentially creating a kratom-based lean. Obviously, this is much less safe than pure leaf.
Avoid these if you can. However, there's one extract that's especially bad. Remember this compound I mentioned, 7-hydroxymitragynine? This alkaloid, often called 7-OH, makes up an extremely small percentage of the usual alkaloid profile. The thing is, you can buy this compound as an isolated extract, and sometimes even synthetic analogs of it. So what's so bad about 7-O? Well, it's not so bad in the normal amounts found in kratom, but as an extract, it's about 12 times the potency of morphine. This shit has the same pain-killing potency as heroin. Not only this, but the high only lasts about 2 hours, meaning you have to redose constantly, making it very, very prone to addiction.
I've seen reports of people who prefer the feeling of 7-O over traditional opiates like oxy or hydrocodone, just to put in perspective how addictive this stuff is.
This drug is extremely dangerous. 7-O has a much higher risk of overdose, causes rapid tolerance and dependency, and from what I've seen, causes some of the worst withdrawals you can experience. These withdrawals cannot be relieved with kratom, by the way. The lesson? Avoid this drug at all costs. I'll be putting the link for the Quitting 7-O subreddit in the description if you need any more scaring off. So, kratom is a really interesting substance, and it's one that I'm both very grateful for and also a bit uncomfortable with. I recommend against taking kratom if you can avoid it, especially if you have an addictive personality. It has uses, and if you're addicted to stronger opioids, it could be really beneficial for you. If you aren't, it's a great way to develop an opioid dependency, if that's something you're into. If you want a good, safe plant to help with anxiety and depression, go try some kava, microdose mushrooms, whatever. Just be careful, alright?